Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On our YouTube channel we talk about all things homesteading and try to implement some of those things on our rural 100 acres in southern West Virginia. Well, we are still not on our rural 100 acres in southern West Virginia. We're still down in southern Florida, but Kelly and I, as we've been kind of kicking it here and relaxing, we've come up with a discussion that we've had about could you homestead in a condominium?
Well, not homestead in the true sense of the word.
Yeah, that definitely comes back to that catch-22 of, okay, let's define homesteading, and maybe we should say, can you modern homestead in a condominium or an apartment complex or a high-rise? We come to the conclusion that no, you couldn't, but don't let that stop you. If your plan is to eventually end up on a homestead, and again, we know from surveys and feedback we've gotten a lot of people that watch our channel that there's about 52% of you that have yet to purchase your homestead land. So you may be in this situation where you're in an urban area or a suburban area and you're not on your homestead land yet, and you may think, well, I can't do anything because I'm restricted by either homeowners associations or just overall square footage being an issue, or just the fact that you're stacked on top of somebody else.
We've discussed some things that you could do to get started on your homesteading journey while you're in a situation like this.
Yeah, I think just sitting around kind of brainstorming, we came up with, there's all kinds of stuff you could really start. So we want to kind of hit some of those high points right now. Well, I think regardless of whether you lived in a condo or a townhouse or an apartment, and you wanted to start homesteading, or you're living out on your property already and you want to start homesteading, one of the most important skills you should have straight away, Kelly,
would be cooking skills.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Learn how to prepare your own food. If you're at the stage where you're frozen pizza and microwave TV dinners, then it's time to pick up those skills a little bit. So where would you start, Kelly? Would you start with making your own pasta noodles, or would you start somewhere?
Definitely not. I think I would start with something that your family eats quite often. So if it's bread that you're eating on a regular basis, maybe learn to make bread at home.
Yeah.
Just starting with the foods that your family likes, and not necessarily the most difficult items like egg noodles or pasta or... Yeah,
you think about it. I mean, we're standing here in this condominium. So what do we have? We've got the basics. We've got a electric range, an oven, microwave, toaster. That's about it. So you think, well, what can I work? Well, obviously you can buy crock pots, you can buy some of those other components that maybe would allow you to do more cooking, but there's really all you need right here to start learning how to do these things. And I like what you said about look what you eat the most of, or even look at what you're buying the most of and say, wow, we eat a lot of frozen pizza. Well, okay, if you and your family are really into frozen pizza, at least try making your own pizza. Learn how to make your own dough, buy your own ingredients, and then just work up from that. As you get those skills and get the confidence of preparing your own food, then you can move up to bigger and better things.
Well, one good thing about learning to cook and bake from scratch is, you're going to be eating healthier. You're not going to have all the preservatives and chemicals that are in the products that you're going to buy off the shelf at the grocery store. So when you're making your own bread, you can make them out of three items.
So when I go to buy my stuff to make my pie, I'm not buying red dye 40 off the shelf, right, and purple 42 and whatever.
Well, most likely not.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Homesteading doesn't necessarily mean you eat cleaner, but if you're like us, we try to eat cleaner. We don't always succeed at it, but it almost walks hand in hand as you start making stuff from scratch. Obviously, you're not putting those preservatives, those crazy ingredients in stuff you're making from scratch. So using the example of frozen pizza, grab a frozen pizza out of your freezer and look at the ingredients on the back of it, and then of course sit down and look at the ingredients in a recipe to make your own dough, pepperoni or whatever you put on that. And you can see you're still going to have some issues with that store-bought pepperoni and things, but you're going to have a lot less of those artificial
right,
ingredients, the preservatives and stuff. And along that same line, while you're still in your apartment, still in your condo, whatever the case may be, look at the appliances and the tools that you're using. If you've got a whole bunch of Teflon cookware, gather all that up and throw it out. You don't want that. Or obviously you can't necessarily pick it up and throw it out, but start looking at cast iron. If you can afford cast iron, start with 1, 2, 3, start transitioning over to cast iron. You'll find that it's not as hard to cook on as people say it is.
Right.
It's not as hard to clean as people say it is if you do it right. And obviously you're not introducing a lot of chemicals into your food at that point of preparation either. So once you get your cooking skills down, or you're working on your cooking skills, then of course, if you've got the space, if you've got a balcony, most apartment complexes or condos have balconies, then consider coming out here and planting some vegetables on your condominium balcony. And again, not all condos are going to have big balconies, but usually they have some sort of balcony, right, Kel?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Start your potted garden right here.
So if you think about some vegetables that you could plant on a balcony that aren't going to be that big a deal, well, everybody goes with the tried and true tomato.
You could do your lettuces. You could do beans. And I think it's unlimited what you can do, really. I mean,
yeah, now in this situation, you may have a little bit of an issue with light. Like this balcony we're sitting on is exactly east facing, so it only gets half a day's worth of sunlight. So you may have to incorporate some grow lights or some additional help there, some reflective light elements. And again, you're probably going to have some HOA issues running up against you there. Most associations are somewhat agreeable when it comes to ornamental plants. So just if you do this on a balcony, just don't let it get unruly. Don't let your bean vines hang down to your neighbor, or don't let them grow up to the top and clog up a gutter or wrap around your ceiling fan or something stupid like that. But I think you could really come out here and take advantage of some space that you have and learn to grow some things. And that's the great experience right there. Even if you're just growing one plant and you've never planted a garden before, you've never raised a plant before, then this is a really good experience for you. Well, another area you can focus on when you're in the kitchen, and you don't necessarily have to do this in the kitchen, but if you're really chomping at the bit, you want to get started with homesteading, you want to get started with some of those elements associated with modern homesteading, then of course food storage, food preservation is really big too. So you get away from going to the grocery store every couple days, you're looking at stockpiling food. Now you may be limited by space in your condo or your apartment, but there's some options there where you can start preserving. So what would you suggest, Kelly, starting?
Well, the most common is canning. And so learning all that it takes to do canning and starting with something simple. We're learning more about dehydrating and fermenting, which I've not done fermenting yet, but we're learning all about it. So I'm excited to try that. Yeah, so you can start, all this stuff can be scaled up. And you may look at your HOA standards and regulations, and there may be even some that say, well, you can't use pressure canners inside your condo and apartment. Well, go with a water bath canner. You can start there and not be dealing with that high pressure. So you can possibly side skirt some issues there. If that's the case where they say you can't do it inside, then see if there's a spot where you can go outside on a patio or a common area and use a gas grill or a burner like that to do your canning. And then, of course, if you're in your condo and you don't have a big garden to produce all this food to can, visit your local farmer's market. You can stock up on end of the season items and get them at a much cheaper price, and do a bulk amount of whatever you're going to can or dehydrate or ferment. And that way, if you ruin the batch, you're not out a lot of money because you hopefully got everything at a good discount. Or visit You Pick It Farms. So if there's orchards, different places near you, that you can do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. This time of year, you can find a lot of good deals at farmers markets. They're trying to offload, especially if they've had a bumper crop. And then even those components themselves. So, water bath canners, you can find those a dime a dozen, it seems, at flea markets and those things. So not a huge investment there. A dehydrator, I think we got our dehydrator used from somebody's yard sale or something, so it wasn't a big expense there. And of course, fermenting and pickling really isn't any special equipment, right, Kel? It's just a matter of understanding the recipes and how to put that together. So you don't have to have a big garden. You don't have to have all this produce that you've grown to start these things. Just go find something. Find somebody, a friend or neighbor that's got a garden. They usually have surplus. This time of year, people are dying to get rid of extra cucumbers and squash and things that are kind of zucchini, kind of finishing up with the year. So you can really stock up quite well there. There
is a great deal of information online on how to do any of these skills, and we've been learning quite a bit from the podcasts of Melissa K. Norris. And recently on one of her podcasts, she introduced Carolyn from homesteadingfamily.com, and she talked all about fermenting. So that's why I'm really interested in getting started with that. It's a very simple process and very healthy for you. Introducing all of those probiotics into your system it's really good for you. So
yeah,
might check out those sources.
And I'll list those sources down in the video description. Definitely check those out. Melissa K. Norris' site especially is very chock full of good stuff. So we're out here on this beautiful hardscaped area here, this common living space for this condominium complex. And, you know, if you think about it, if you're in a situation where you'd like to try to grow some of your food and you just don't have the space at your condo, then look at working with your HOA to say, hey, can we take some of this community, this open area space, and can we do something with it like a community garden? Community gardens are really in vogue right now. So while you may think, well, there's no way in the world the homeowners association is going to let me put a raised bed right here where this picnic table is, or come over here into this seagrass or these sea grapes and take those out and put raised beds or a small community garden. You just don't know sometimes, so it'd be worth looking at it. And that's the key point about the community. If you said, hey, I want to plant a garden for me down in this common space, that's not going to work.
So you may want to see if there are some like-minded folks in your neighborhood, in your condo, that would be interested in developing a community garden and then going together to your HOA to see if that's even an option.
Yeah, you think about it, there's some power in numbers there. So if you have enough like-minded people in your apartment complex or your condominium complex, you say, hey, this area over here that nobody's using, you guys are paying HOA dues to maintain, to mow the grass, to put this fancy landscaping in, all that type of stuff anyway. Why not let us take that small portion, maybe it's just a 20 by 20 area, and you decide to plant a garden. You're down here in South Florida, you could get quite a bit of a growing season if you took some of this out. Now again, there's obviously restrictions, being the fact that the beach is right here, there's obviously restrictions with that. But most people aren't coastal, and you're going to have these green spaces that they're paying to maintain anyway. They're paying your homeowners association dues toward that to pay for that maintenance. So see if you can get a community garden going. If for some reason you can't, if your HOA says absolutely not, we don't have any green space, we're not doing that, then take those same like-minded people and maybe go outside of your property, outside of your complex property, and see a lot of suburban and urban areas have vacant property laying around, whether it's abandoned homes, lots that haven't been developed yet. If you go to a property owner and say, hey, we've got a bunch of people here that we want to do a community garden on your quarter-acre lot, we'll pay you $200 a year. Depending on where you are, that may cover that person's property tax. They jump all over it. Wouldn't cover it in southern Florida. But it may be like, hey, I'm not doing anything with this property anyway right now. You guys aren't going to build anything permanent. You're just going to put a garden in. So yeah, let's do that. And that's one way you could get some food growing, get some of that experience in gardening, and it not even be on your property. Wouldn't this patio look awesome with a pig pasture right on the edge of it here, Cal? You could have pigs come right up to the fire pit, and that would look, I don't know, maybe I'm out of touch. So this isn't even a comprehensive list. There's so many other things you could do when you look at modern homesteading and what all skills that incorporates. If you've got a sewing machine or you want to get a sewing machine, you can get used ones pretty cheap. Learn that skill.
And then if you don't have the benefit of doing things hands-on where you are, you do have the benefit of most likely having classes available to you in the city to be able to learn those cooking skills from someone else, sewing skills, whatever it is that you're wanting to hone, or start reading. Go to the library and check out books on the things that you want to focus on.
As Kelly mentioned, if you're living in one of these, if you're living in a population dense area, most likely there are options for training. If you don't have access to those, you can't do that, then continue doing maybe what you're doing. If you're watching our video, then maybe you're watching YouTube videos to learn that. Podcasts, websites, blogs. Man, there is so much that you and I have learned just off of other people's blogs and their websites and their other YouTube channels. And there's way too many to list, but there's just so much information out there that if you're stuck at this point in your life, and I hate to use the word stuck, but if you're at a point in your life where you're in this setting and you do want to get out and homestead, then you don't have to be idle in learning those skills. So check out all those resources. Well, we hope those made sense. If you find yourself in this situation where you're in an urban or a suburban setting and you're not yet on your homesteading land, do not hold off on trying to learn some of these skills. You can go ahead and get up to speed on quite a few of these things that we've discussed and have those skills going forward. There's a lot of things that you can learn and say, well, I don't want to do that, or oh, I want to do that, or I'm now more prepared to do this once I'm on my homestead. Well, we're going to continue doing videos while we're here in southern Florida, so keep an eye out for that. We will be back on the homestead at some point. And for those of you keeping score, I have neglected to bring a razor, so by the end of this 2-week journey, I could look like Grizzly Adams by the end. What you think, Kel?
You wish.
Yeah, it's going to get to where you guys may not recognize me in the next week, so it's getting a little furry here.
So again, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Red Tool House Farm.
Take care, everybody.